Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with some more movie talk with another episode of this podcast we've been doing for some time now. This guy hasn't seen it, and of course I am joined as usual by one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Thank you for having me again, Omari. As always, Omaricans, lovely to see you. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk movies with you, sir.
Thank you. Same. And yes, like I said, this guy hasn't seen, where the title pretty much explains the show. We've been trading things back and forth, usually movies, sometimes other forms of media that one guy has seen and the other hasn't. And this week we have a treat for you: Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
That's right. I suggested it because Omari had never seen it. It's Tucker and Dale versus Evil, 2010 movie, rated R. It stars Tyler Labine, Alan Tudyk, and Katrina Bowden. You would know possibly as the pilot from Firefly and many other character actor parts.
Who,
Alan Tudyk.
Yeah. Oh, I recognized him as one of my initial reactions. I was like, wait, is that Tudyk?
And then I know Big Boy was in a series that had a pretty hardcore fandom, and it was like supernatural based.
Okay, he had a familiar look to him, but yeah, I couldn't place him as easily.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that, but yeah, three relatively unknown. I mean, this is a small movie. This is a low budget movie. Katrina Bowden, fans of 30 Rock, you might know her from that as the intern, secretary person, terrible at her job, or in the earlier seasons.
So familiar,
right? So this is affable hillbillies Tucker and Dale are on vacation at their dilapidated mountain cabin when they are mistaken for murderers by a group of preppy college students. That is the bio. It doesn't really give you much. The reason why I chose this is because I remembered seeing it and enjoying it quite a bit. It plays on, as someone who's not a big fan of horror, and this is kind of in our spooky, this is going to wrap up our spooky season, even though we never really went very spooky, because you're looking at two guys who don't really like watching spooky stuff, like the really hardcore spooky stuff. That's not our bag, baby.
All three horror things on this thing have been spooky-ish.
Yeah, spooky-ish. So this one is a movie that is playing on all the tropes of a crazy hillbilly slasher, a Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of thing, and a wrong turn. If you're familiar with those series of movies, those kind of things. It's playing on all of these tropes, and it's basically the like, don't judge a book by its cover, the movie.
Communication is important.
Communication is important. The movie. And so I would probably classify it as a comedy first and then a horror second. Same IMDb classifies it as such as well. Omari, had you ever heard of this film? If you had, any particular reason to avoid it?
I feel like it's very similar to your Tales from the Hood. Why you hadn't seen it. Like, I think you said you had heard of it, but never really had it on the radar because not really horror or whatever. I may have heard the term Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I have friends who are really into horror and things that make fun of horror, so they may have mentioned it in passing. Also, culturally, I never really came across my radar. To say it the most recent. So pretty much the same reasons like that, like pretty much the obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad I didn't hear about it, and if I did, I'm kind of sad I hadn't checked it out before. If, to kind of spoil a little bit how I felt about it. But yeah, and just when you said it, you had even asked me later in the week to what we were doing. I'm like, something versus evil. So if I had, it was not
right. I was bouncing around a few different movies last week, and then I couldn't remember what I settled on. And so I checked in with you pretty late in the week. I think that was a Monday, or maybe even Tuesday.
I was just like, something versus evil. Like Tucker and Dale, like yes. And then when I saw the poster, because I was looking it up to find it, which luckily it's included with Prime.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So if you got Amazon Prime, you don't even have to rent it like most Prime videos. You can just watch it, which is fantastic. And
a lot of the things we've watched recently have been like pay to play.
Yeah. I'm happy that for once I don't have to do that or go to like the high seas to find something.
Indeed.
To borrow your idiom.
What'd you call me?
You heard me. Idiom's a term, right? For like a saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Wanted to make sure because I may be a bit of an idiom myself at times. Anyway, when I saw the poster, I was like, okay, looking at the name and a poster like this, when it comes to what I was expecting a comedy at that point. I didn't really look at it, say genre horror comedy, but the poster with a name like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and you just see the poster with Dale with like a chainsaw and then some of the other stuff, I'm like, this is probably going to be a comedy. Because I remember last week you were like, I'm not going to tell you what kind of horror movie I picked. Because I was debating whether real horror or comedy horror. I'm not going to tell you which one. And so I looked at the poster. I'm like, this might be a comedy. And it was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So as it starts rolling,
Yeah,
what's your initial reactions?
First thing, you see the news reporter talking, and I'm like, wait, this is a found footage parody? Because literally you see a camera and all that stuff, and then something happens, and then it goes to 3 days earlier, like, oh no, it's an in medias res type deal, and we're going to get to this later, because I'm trying to guess now, thinking about stuff, and as I mentioned, the next note after that was, is that Tudyk? See? I'm like, wait, did I recognize an actor early on? Hey, Alan Tudyk is someone
He's getting better, guys.
Well, Alan Tudyk, to be fair, is someone that I'm not going to be like he's an inspiration to me, but he's someone that I've definitely become a fan of over the years. I believe Firefly / Serenity is when he really got onto my radar, not necessarily during the TV airing, but when some friends who were really obsessed with Firefly, like most Firefly viewers are, were like, watch this. I'm like, okay, let me watch it. I'm a leaf on the fucking wind. Watch me soar. Yeah, so I kind of became more of a fan of his, and then I realized he's in so much shit.
Yeah.
And so now it's gotten to a point where I'm like, oh shit, Alan Tudyk. What? Well, and he does a great job at this, like he is wont to. So at first he had me questioning it.
He's kind of like, a good mark of quality.
Yeah. So he did great. And the shot of them driving past the college kids when you first see them, because you see the college kids in the car, and just that was just fucking hilarious, just the way they look at them. I'm like... And you mentioned it plays on tropes, so
right.
I'm thinking, so wait, Tucker and Dale versus wait, are they the villains? But as it keeps going, I'm just like, they're seeing obvious sign of horror, but they're slow on the uptake. Okay, and then you hear the ghost story. Also, they resemble the murdering pair. Okay, I'm getting this. All right. And then sure enough, after we get Chad being an asshole to what's her name and her falling into water and them saving her, the second they save her and they go, we got your friend. I'm like, that's what this is. Miscommunication the movie. Okay. Miscommunication the movie.
Yep.
And
then all the whole thing is earlier than that at the gas station. Y'all going camping?
Because he's so like awkward.
They don't know that he's just an incredibly socially awkward person.
Yeah, he's
and the sweetest sweetheart underneath that.
Yeah. By the way, people, I'm trying to go into less detail than I have in the past videos, but yes. That's why I didn't say that.
That would be that the gas station scene is one of my standout moments for sure. It is just to throw that in there.
It definitely sets the stage for the misconception or for the misunderstandings to happen.
Yeah.
Like it also shows the importance of a first impression. Because them seeing them at the gas station thinking that they're creepy because the first thing she sees is him just hiding behind like an aisle, like looking at her because she's hot.
Right.
And he like tries to play it off and they're like, these hillbillies are hella creepy. And I'm pretty sure the shit that what's his name Tucker was asking for at the register, like some of that stuff was like he was asking for stuff to fix up the cabin they were getting, but you don't know exactly what he needs all these tools and shit for. So if he looks creepy and he's asking for all of these like stuff, it's like
it was like a trench shovel, 30 feet of rope, a bunch of hooks and nails. It can be stuff to fix up your house, or it could also be something to supply a torture chamber.
Yeah, to kill like a group of college kids in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, they do that. And yep, for initial reactions, I tried to limit them to the early in the movie so that I could not go.
That's when you are initially viewing the movie.
That is true. That's not necessarily how I've been taking notes in the previous ones. It's stuff that I kind of mixed the concept of initial reaction and standout moments and had too many of both.
Yeah,
because it's just like, this is what I'm thinking during my first time viewing the movie. But yeah, I did like Chad's monologue when they were like, dude, we gotta get out of here. He's like, what's wrong with y'all? This is our chance. What, the chance to die? No.
Of course his name is Chad.
That's why I put, of course Chad's an asshole.
Yeah.
Like when he looked like he was coming, well, he definitely was, but when he was coming on way too hard to Allie, the main female character, Chad was coming on strong, you know, getting very close to a word that begins with R and rhymes with grape, but he didn't, thankfully. But he was definitely coming on strong. Yeah,
there was definitely enough to be physically uncomfortable and near pressing charges.
Yes.
Like
yeah, like had he gone any further.
Yeah.
But that's what I typed. Of course, Chad's an asshole. Mm-hmm. Of course he is. His name's Chad. Given nowadays what people say when they come with Chads, even though most Chads that I've met in real life have been cool.
I want to go to one of my yeah. Unfortunately, I want to go to my very first standout moment of the movie. Go right ahead.
We'll move right into it.
Maybe this is coming from a certain perspective of the world.
Okay.
And maybe certain segments of the world will not find it as hilarious as I do. But when that man thinks that he is the coolest dude in the world and saving the entire camping trip by pulling out that single tiny little joint, I die laughing every time I watch this movie.
That is funny. They're like, oh, no, we did it. Hey, why do you think I brought this?
That thing's gonna take 6 hits, 1 hit for each person, and
yeah, it's not even like he pulled out a bag. Like
the fact that he brought one
that's what I'm
single
saying.
joint, and it's the tiniest little thing ever.
That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. Like, because sometimes, like, I brought no, like one tiny little joint, not even like a
and
fucking
it's just
black and
loose
mild
in his pocket.
Yeah, just.
Folks,
Come on, we forgot
have
the beer.
better marijuana maintenance. I am not approving or disapproving of it, but I am saying that you take care of things that are expensive.
Yeah. To my
If you
knowledge,
put a lot
expensive.
of money into a nice record player, you're not going to let that record player just get filled and caked with dust. True. You're gonna brush it off.
You put that shit in your mouth.
You're gonna clean it.
Yeah, you put that shit in your mouth. Why is it just loose in your pocket? That's a good point. Because I remember, like, today at work, someone thought their vape had been stolen, and I'm like, why would you steal someone else's vape? They put their mouth all over that.
They put their mouth all over that.
Numerous times. It's weird. Not like Puff Puff Pass isn't a thing, but still, just conceptually when you think about it.
Right. No. Yeah. So yeah, we've already hit my first 2 standouts. Right. That moment in the car, definitely, and then the gas station.
The first one I put because, like I said, I was trying to condense the length. The chainsawing the log and the bees. The first, like, true, oh god, well, I guess the second, because they were scared when they saw We Got Your Friend, because I kind of mentioned that earlier, and that made them initially, because she fell in the water, Tucker and Dale saved her life. Other people see them pulling her out of the water into the thing, and because they're 2 random creepy hillbillies in their eyes, oh god, they gotta be axe murderers. Chad didn't help things by telling a story about axe murderers. About 2 hillbilly axe murderers.
Maybe the 2 fakest boobs on the planet.
Oh my
god! Resided in that lake in that moment.
They were so circular.
My goodness. They were so circular.
They were so circular.
I don't want to. Yeah, no, that was it.
I care less. I care less about fake versus real, and even I was like, "Come on now." Now could be a great person. Not saying anything against her, but he makes a point. Visually, very circular. But they get in the water. But yeah, they got skinny dipping and whatnot. That's why they were out. It's not a lot of boobular action in this movie, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I think they got that.
Because they go to the house to try and find their friend, because they know the hillbillies got her, and because the hillbillies literally yelled, "We got your friend."
Wait, what are we talking about now? Bees?
Yeah, right when they get there to try and save her the first time, and Tucker's in the backyard sawing a log, because again they're trying to fix up this house that Tucker and Dale just bought. They're trying to fix up the house because it's going to be their summer home or their vacation home. Yeah, and he's back there chainsawing a log. And he's chainsawing a log. And there's a bee's nest inside. The bees start chasing him, and he's running around with the chain. He's still got the chainsaw in his hand, so he comes from around the house, just
scares the living shit out of one of the college kids. Starts running with him. There's a great moment of side by side sprinting, where Tudyk now makes eye contact with one of the college kids, and is like, "What are you doing here? You're running from the bees too, I guess? Okay."
And then kid impales himself on a stick.
Yeah, it's our first big death of the movie. And yeah, it's a gruesome one. We see him slowly going cold. And like
he lands on his nose.
And as he's also like analyzing the situation of like, why did the killer run past me, and like bees, and like I don't know if in that moment he's making the full on realization of like, oh,
That's
I
the
shouldn't
impression
have
I
been
got.
running from that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely a little bit of trying to, because you're in that moment. Yeah, I mean, you're
Yeah, like I'm
dying.
dying.
So I don't know how much he can
He
really
did.
be
Yeah, he's
processing
like
the
he
moment.
didn't like force me to run into this thing because he was completely running away afterwards. Yeah, it's like why is he still running? I've already died on, and then the bee lands on his nose, and you see him look at it and kind of have a as he dies. So it's like he realized in that last second, like, are you fucking kidding me? It was bees, and then died.
Bees.
But nobody else saw the bees. They just eventually find their friend impaled,
Right.
and now they're convinced. And so my next standout moment would be the wood chipper scene.
Yeah, that's the next thing is the big multi-death thing. At this point, the girl from 30 Rock has been inside of Tucker and Dale's shack, mostly unconscious. At the time she is unconscious, she's making friends. She's playing nice with Dale. Dale's a really charming, sweet little teddy bear of a guy. So it's easy, and she's weird. They're all weird characters, and pretty much everybody but Tucker and Dale are also terrible actors. And so there's rough moments, particularly from the lead female, in my opinion, but it's still
I
a
can
fun.
see that in a couple scenes. Some scenes she does well.
But yeah, it's like some of those interactions, like Dale is just carrying so much weight in all of those scenes to get through them. You could just feel it. But yeah, then we jump to the wood chipper, and they're still trying to save her from inside because they still don't understand. Nobody is talking to each other.
And what little lines they do don't help.
Yeah, Dale doesn't want the girl. He is only delaying every second he can of her leaving the shack because he gets to talk to her. So that's one of the other things of the miscommunication is like he
Yeah, she
could
offers to
easily
go early
he
on.
could
She offers to
easily
go talk
outside
to her friends.
and yell and be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm fine. Where are you guys? I'm over here. Blah blah blah." But he doesn't want her to do that because then the friends find her quicker.
Yeah.
He wants to either be the people who he wants to be the person who reunites her with her friends, so he like gets that valor moment, or delay. Like if the friends eventually find the cabin, he'll go outside, he'll say hi, yeah, she's in here, just to delay her coming outside for 5 more seconds. And so no,
I like
it's
that.
not necessarily like no, don't go outside. I want to keep you here. It's just like
But earlier he made a good point, like, yo, you don't need to go outside. You hit your head and did all this stuff. I'll go, and then once people start dying around, it's like, no, don't go outside. It's dangerous.
Yeah. But so that leads us all up to the wood chipper scene, and that the wood chipper and impale, so a second self-impaling moment is fucking crazy. Tudyk's reaction to the wood chipper moment is amazing. It's amazing.
And just him going into him. You wouldn't believe it, damn. Kid just ran up and jumped in the wood chipper. What? Well, now that you mentioned it, kid impaled himself. I think this is a suicide pact. So now, Tucker and Dale think these kids are fucking crazy and trying to kill themselves around them. They don't even think, they think we got their friend and they're trying to attack us because of that. They just think these kids are trying to kill themselves.
Right. Like, it's one of these things where these kids go out to the woods and they like commit ritual suicide. It's a murder-suicide pact thing, and they want to kill her too.
We gotta protect.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's just, Tucker and Dale are great in this entire movie, but like Tudyk is amazing in that scene, and it's probably all Tudyk, like because those legs are rubber. There's not there's no way there's an actual like wood chipper blade 1 foot from Tudyk going,
especially if it's gonna pull.
Yeah, there might be like an air cannon and a blood splattery thing going off inside of it at him, but otherwise it's one of those things where he's just sitting there and they're like, all right, Alan, get ready, and he's like, and then he starts shaking it, and then he's and action, and then like that's all him probably, and he does it so fucking good.
He's fantastic in this movie. But yeah, and both sides mentioned trying to talk to the police to opposition from like compatriots. However,
I didn't write that moment down in my standouts, but that's another big moment where several people die.
Yeah, well, because I was just gonna be like, because Tucker. It's like, we could just tell the cop kids are killing themselves. They're not going to believe that. Are you going to think, what are they, morons? And then sure enough, when the cop does come, you get that, what I was going to say, the inevitable bad explanation to the cop. And the cop's just like, because they're too awkward. And they're covered in blood. And seen dragging half a body.
Yep.
And then the cop seems like he's listening to him. Only to fucking die too.
I got it right here. Oh, Heidi ho, officer. We've had a doozy of a day. There we were, minding our own business, just doing chores around the house when kids started killing themselves all over my property. And from his perspective, that's exactly what happened. And of course, the cop walks in. He showed like the a couple of the surviving kids eventually get the cops, bring him in. Chad is almost full blown nutso at this point because what's her face? Caitlin has been gone for so long, or what's her name? Whatever the girl's name is from 30 Rock has been gone for however long, and now you have 3 friend deaths at this point that he thinks every one of them is done by Tucker and Dale, and so he's full blown bad shit. They get the cops come, fucking, of course it's an accidental death from the cops.
And that's at that point I'm pretty sure if it wasn't already point of no return, the dead cop is the pinnacle point of no return, especially because Allie's unconscious at this point, so she can't provide a no, I'm fine, you know, thing. And another shootout, more deaths happened. Fucking Chad goes full fucking, I'm gonna take over this situation, and kidnaps the dog, and just that leads to a whole bunch of other shit. And eventually they kidnap Tucker. And that was a poor scene. This is for Mike is another standout moment for me. I just have, this is for Mike. Poor Tucker. I just feel bad for Tucker a lot in this movie. I feel bad for Dale too, but I definitely feel bad for Tucker.
I mean, yeah, Tucker gets the shit into the stick for sure.
Yeah, I definitely feel bad for Tucker, like, cause he don't even care that much about the girl. Like, he wants to see his boy Dale happy, cause Dale's the teddy bear, like you said, but he's a tad bit of a sad sack, you know, in an endearing way.
Yeah.
But so he wants to see his buddy happy, but this is all happening to him, and he's like,
he's covered in bee stings, giant bee stings. He's got the fucking
like bee stings the size of my fucking cheek sack.
Ugh. Yeah, it's ugly.
Yeah, he's just not having a good day. Loses his fingers, just bad time. And then I didn't put another standout moment until the gearing up montage, because I was trying to not put it. There's a lot to talk about in this movie, just for people who are fans of the movie, like, talk about this. There's a lot. I will acknowledge that, but I'm trying not to go for an hour. But there's the gearing up montage.
I think we're hitting the greatest hits.
I know, but I'm saying there's the gearing up montage where he's like putting all the stuff on.
We've experienced a lot of gearing up montages in this. I feel like we've had a lot of gearing up montages
in parodies too.
Yeah.
But he gets up and then immediately, instead of immediately dying, like, and I'm gonna get you sucker, he didn't even, but immediately, like, that happened in the other movie, he takes it off almost immediately when he gets in there, because she's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Because Chad eventually goes full mental, kidnaps Allie, climax a movie. Because Chad, the ghost story Chad told was actually the tale of his parents.
That's my final standout moment is the moment our main villain Chad finds out, Chad, you're half hillbilly.
Not your dad's the murderer.
It's
You're
so
half
stupid.
hillbilly.
It's so stupid.
But when he comes in to save her and he's got all the stuff on and she's like, oh God. He's like, oh no, it's me, Allie. Oh, what are you doing? I was trying to look intimidating. He immediately like takes off the majority of the gear. So he did all that gearing up in the montage just to take it off immediately, and I thought that was hilarious.
I don't know how a chainsaw doesn't immediately fucking like I don't. That's it, it's. I mean, like it's there are moments of this movie that are terrible, in my opinion, but great and terrible. Like that scale we've talked about before.
Yeah.
And that fight, most of the climax of the film, honestly, the acting from our female lead and our main villain, the reveal of the dad being the murderer of this horror story that the kid told at the camp, and
I was fine with the reveal of the dad. The you're half hillbilly line was just a very funny way of doing it. I'm like, okay. For whatever reason, as cliche as it might have turned out, A, I didn't see it coming anyway, and two, it's meant to be cliche because of the genre or because of the style of movie.
Right. But yeah, that fight between a chainsaw and a metal pipe, my God, I don't know how someone can be so bad with a chainsaw. Like that shouldn't be a fight. That shouldn't be a fight. It should be, I have a chainsaw.
I'll have a chainsaw.
You don't have an arm anymore.
I got a chainsaw. I'll skin your ass raw. Its tale as old as time. But somehow he fucked it up. He had more skin missing than the guy he was swinging a chainsaw at.
So who would you rather play, Tucker or Dale?
I'm gonna be honest, because looking at the movie, Dale seems like it'd be fun just because I like being funny, but Tucker's funny too.
Right.
But if I'm being completely honest, I saw you as more of a Dale. It may be a build thing, but still, I saw you being able to do that off. And I believe you stated in a previous one you like playing kind of the socially awkward, like.
Oh yeah,
thing.
I mean, I just do it well.
Yeah,
I think that's one of my bread and butters.
So I think you could do that well. Then I saw, I'm like, I can see Bill as a Dale, and by proxy, I'm like, Tucker. Tucker would be. I would be a Tucker, like, especially if it was the two of us. Let's go with your, high school scenario type thing. I think we would be going to that.
We would be going to that audition knowing that it was ours.
Yeah.
If Mr. P cast anybody else, he would be making the wrong decision, and it would be just a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. I think either one of us could do both.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of us could do either part, but I think the natural inclination is me as Dale and you as Tucker.
Yeah. Either that or I'll be one of the college kids. I like the Vengeance Quest aspect of Chad, but I also just really like Vengeance Quests.
I don't know if you can be the villain.
That's the thing. See, you keep saying this, but I remember when I was younger, one of my goals in acting.
That was a joke.
I remember when I was younger, one of my goals in acting was like, I want to be in a murder mystery and be the murderer. I don't know why. I don't want to murder anybody.
You want to be in a murder
life.
mystery.
I know, and technically I already accomplished that in a high school play. But when I was younger, I was like, in a movie, I want to do that. This isn't a murder mystery. Yes, I was gonna make that further distinction, but still, just I don't know. The way Chad was
I'm just thinking there's two different, like there's somebody who ends up being the murderer on the Orient Express, and then there's a Chad slasher murderer.
Exactly. That's why I said I was going to make that distinction between this movie and that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the way Chad was portraying this role, he looked like he was having a lot of fun. And to that regard, that's why I would be like,
this movie was probably a lot of fun to make. It seems like everybody was having a pretty good time.
Yeah.
As long as there wasn't a whole lot of stress budgetarily, which can always, I would imagine that can apply a lot of stress and pressure. Money is
that'll do that.
Everything.
One thing that would worry me about playing Chad or anybody that uses a chainsaw is the aspect that I have to use a chainsaw.
There's never a real chain on them.
I don't have a fear of chainsaws. I just have a fear of using a chainsaw, like, cause you fuck up, you're missing something for life.
No, yeah, a real chainsaw is intimidating. Those are never have actual blades in them.
Fair. Which I also kind of figured, but at the same time, you got certain scenes where you're like, oh, here, I'm using a chainsaw to cut wood. That's actually a chainsawing.
That's true.
That's true. To that regard, that's why I'm like, I would have to get over it. It would be an easier fear for me to get over than any swimming scenes I would have to do. Because, I have real life experience with swimming going poorly. So that's actually a fear with some foundation. Swim. That's a fear with some foundation to it. Not like my irrational fear of motorcycles when I was a kid, of like riding a motorcycle down a highway and getting smashed between two 18-wheelers. Because they didn't see me.
That's specific.
Yeah, because they didn't see me. I saw motorcycles are small, 18-wheelers are big. They ain't gonna see me. That's what I thought when I was a kid. I've grown out of that fear, but
I was convinced that a shark was going to be in my grandmother and grandfather's pool that maxed out at 5.5 feet deep.
Fair. You don't know.
I thought at any moment there could be a shark in there. You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Bill, you've been underwater. You've swam the entire pool. Do you know though? Do you know if it's there now? Someone could have added it. It could have opened. A hatch could have opened from the bottom of the pool, James Bond style, and released a shark. I don't know.
Never mind the fact that we're in the middle of the United States, but I'm with you. Like, I can see where.
And it's my grandma and grandpa's pool. I don't think they're gonna sick a shark on me.
Yeah, when you're a kid, that's where your mind goes. Like,
it's real.
The possibility is there. Damn it.
Yeah.
I can put 5 and 6 together and get 11. Sharks are in the water. That's water. There could be or sharks could be in the water. That's a body of water. I don't care how small it is. There could be a shark in it.
Yep.
Good thing you didn't grow up in Florida where, gators are a thing. And they sometimes just randomly do show up in people's backyards. I'm like, so glad I live in Orlando where that's very unlikely. But yeah, because gators be crazy. And someone's like, yeah, sometimes they'll swim through like sewers and come out in random lakes. I'm like, what? And you're cool with this? Y'all Florida people weird. Oh, it ain't nothing but a gator. What? No, ain't no nothing but a gator. It's a motherfucking alligator. You fucking crazy people.
I don't know. You got to deal with like rogue, released to the wild Disney World character employees.
No, well, Florida Man is real.
When those Mickey Mouse costumes get all dirty and they get desperate.
Look, man,
asking you for a quarter and you deny them.
Florida Man and/or woman. Oh boy, I'm gonna kill you. Gosh, Mickey, don't do that.
You're gonna get this video blocked.
Why? Because I said,
Because it's Disney, man.
Hey, well, true. There's a true. There's a
I love
video
you,
of
Disney.
like SpongeBob
I love
beating the shit
Marvel.
out of
I love
SpongeBob
most of
and
the
Mickey
Star Wars
fighting
that
each
you
other.
put out. A lot of people don't like your Star Wars. Disney, I like The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is a very good movie. It's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. There, I said it.
Fair enough.
Don't ban this video.
Fair enough. I might like The Rise of Skywalker if I watch it.
Dude, let's not talk about The Rise of Skywalker.
Anyway, so yeah, I think you said Tucker or Dale. We could probably switch back and forth because of our dynamic with one another. I agree.
I'm down with playing any of the college kids, really. Yeah.
There's a lot of roles for either of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, final thoughts, I guess.
I enjoy it. It's one of those that I mock watch on a little bit of a level. I mean, I think Tucker and Dale are doing amazing. Alan Tudyk and what's his face? Sorry, bro. Are
And
doing great work in this movie. I think they're putting in really good stuff. Tyler Labine. So they're really good, and I love the concept of troping on this, like, don't judge a book by its cover horror thing.
Yeah.
Of the hillbilly and the group of kids going camping. I love that trope of it. But, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, there are moments when the execution fails. There's moments when the acting fails. I think there's a reason why you don't really see anybody but Alan Tudyk and old boy Tyler Labine in things. Like, everybody else is kind of not working that much because they're not, but overall the movie is fun. I think it's a really good movie to watch maybe with a group of friends.
Yeah.
Where you can all sit around, maybe have a couple of drinks, joke about the movie. Not one of those where you're all sitting in silence, obviously, like a hangout kind of thing. I think that would be a great movie for this, or this would be a great movie for that. And yeah, other than that, I loved it. What were you thinking?
That's a lot more eloquently put than what I typed. What I typed was it's cool, I like it, but I agree with the points that you make about, like, cool, just chill, just want to laugh, want a good laugh. As far as the performances go, I agree that Tucker and Dale, who, as they should, being the titular characters, carry this movie pretty fucking hard. I will say, while I noticed some of the lesser degree of carrying from the other actors, to put it nicely, I didn't find it as egregiously done because of the nature of the type of movie. Any overly cheesy or weird delivery with lines, which there were some scenes where it was a little too, you could have retaked that. Even though there were some scenes where that was the case, a lot of it just went over my head because we're trying to be overly tropey, because we're going into this being like, this is how horror movies work. Haven't you seen them? Like, when the girl, like, this is called Stockholm Syndrome, and blah, blah, blah. I just had to laugh when she's, like, tried to explain it, and they didn't believe her because she's just like, this is Stockholm Syndrome. What? But yeah. But yeah, all in all, I don't regret it. I literally recommended it to somebody at work who hadn't seen it earlier today, so I enjoyed it.
You're already passing it on.
Yep, already passing it on to somebody else who hadn't seen it, but they're not coming on the show. We've already covered it. Anyway, so
you missed your shot,
right? So, as we get out of here, we're going to have what we're watching next week, as usual. And I guess it's back on me to suggest something here. So, I'm going back to the anime well.
Okay.
Because I'm running out of things at the moment. I need to actually further study of what I've seen. But I decided to go with Hokuto no Ken, or Fist of the North Star. There's a movie whose exact name escapes me. That's why you'll see it like next week, because it's probably Fist of the North Star, blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to give you like an OVA that's just something here. But yes, Fist of the North Star, the movie. Because I like Fist of the North Star. What you have seen of Fist of the North Star you like, but I know you're not entirely familiar with the story. So,
yeah, I'm mostly familiar with the game cutscenes.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah. So
that's get into next episode.
Yes. Fist of the North Star, or Hokuto no Ken. And that should be fun. It's Mad Max the anime plus exploding hits. So check that
Pressure
out
points.
if you want to see me anywhere. A lot of Bruce Lee noises. So yeah, if you want to see me elsewhere, you can also see other videos on this channel, obviously. Where's One Piece? It's coming back, don't worry.
Where's One Piece?
It's coming back.
Where's Learn Me More?
Y'all were watching it anyway. It's coming back though, don't worry. I'm also elsewhere on YouTube with the Whatever We Want podcast. New episodes every week, every Wednesday. You can check that out. You can also check me out on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi.
Come on in. Stop on by.
Thank you very much. And Bill, you got anything you want to say to the people?
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all have a good one. Adios.